Hello to all my friends and well-wishers. Thank you for listening to my podcast. As many of you know, it is always my goal to highlight through my podcast important issues facing our society. One of the most important topics, I believe, is public safety. And so the question is, what exactly do we mean by public safety? In short, we have a framework in society that ensures that people are protected from threats of harm, from disasters, and any form of danger. The public safety professionals are responsible for catching those who engage in unlawful activity. Robust public safety measures deter criminal activity. People must know that there are penalties for doing things that are unlawful, and therefore, a very important component of public safety is law enforcement. Now, having said that, why do we need to talk about public safety right now? That's because right now in the United States, we have a big crisis. Law enforcement agencies are having a very difficult time recruiting and retaining officers. Our police force is being depleted, and we're not able to successfully replace the outgoing police officers. Over the years, as many of you know, we have witnessed anti-police activists engaging in anti-police rhetoric. There are forces out there that are busy trying to erode the strength of police by trying to defame and demean the law enforcement profession. Name-calling, insults, and anti-police slogans have been aimed at the men and women of law enforcement. But the attacks on police go far beyond that. Left-wing elected officials, supported by anti-police activists, have tried to defund the police. They have removed funding that law enforcement agencies get. They have removed money from police budgets in various communities. And when police budgets are cut, when law enforcement is defunded, then public safety is at risk. I saw a news report recently that discussed how several major American cities are seeing severe staffing issues in their law enforcement departments. Major American cities like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and many more are facing crisis in their law enforcement agencies as there continues to be a shortfall in the number of police officers that they need. And why is this happening? This is the direct result of anti-police rhetoric and the defund the police movement. Perhaps the greatest challenge is the fact that it is extremely difficult to hire new officers. It is very, very challenging to recruit new police personnel. We have a worker shortage right now in the United States, and it is affecting many industries. But the challenges facing law enforcement community are even greater. Think about young men and women who want to serve the community, and they want to do so by joining law enforcement. It is not just a job, it is a very strong commitment. Every time someone puts on a police uniform, that person is putting one's own life at risk to serve the public. And that's why I say that law enforcement is a very noble profession. But anti-police rhetoric is damaging the enthusiasm that drives the younger generation to go and serve in law enforcement. When the police profession is attacked and defamed, it hurts those who wish to be police officers. The young men and women who are looking forward to serving in law enforcement, when they hear all the anti-police rhetoric and all the anti-police slogan, it really hurts them. Men and women of law enforcement are there when we need them the most. When we face a severe crisis, we know that we can pick up the phone and dial 911. And we can count on the police to respond and be there for us. We must be proud of our police officers and other emergency responders. In the United States, I believe that we are truly blessed to have such great service, but there are many parts of the world where such excellent police response does not exist. There are places around the world where people cannot count on the swift response from police officers. But here in America, we are blessed. As I said, we have a great framework. People in communities around the country feel safe because they know that whether it's a medical emergency or a fire hazard or an incident of crime, emergency responders are there to provide service. They are there to put their own lives at risk, to protect our lives. But let me tell you, my friends, nothing must be taken for granted. We know that we can count on emergency responders to be there because we know that law enforcement agencies have the personnel they need to respond to emergencies. But what if they don't have enough people? What if law enforcement agencies cannot hire enough officers to provide the service that we expect them to provide? If police departments are being depleted and not replaced with new officers, then 911 response time will increase. And then there will be higher degree of stress and burnout among officers. And as a result, the quality of services may fall. In many cities across the United States, sadly, emergency response time has already increased because of staffing problems. At the same time, crimes have increased significantly in many communities, which means that now, more than ever, we need strong and well-staffed law enforcement agencies. But many agencies, as I already mentioned, are facing severe shortages. As an American citizen, I am deeply concerned about staffing shortages in police departments. I think addressing staffing issues in law enforcement agencies should be a top priority for elected officials. Once the police lose the ability to effectively deter and combat crimes, then law and order in society will crumble, and we must prevent that from happening. Public safety should be the top priority. Everything from the safety of our families, the security of our homes, the security in our workplaces, the protection of our property rights, everything depends on the strength of our law enforcement agencies. Public safety is a top priority, and I think it is time to adopt strong measures to support the men and women in uniform. I will conclude there. Share with me your thoughts. As always, I appreciate hearing from you. So send me a message, and I hope to be back again with a new episode. And before I end, let me tell you once again, we must support the men and women in uniform. We must support the men and women of law enforcement. Thank you so much for listening.